y'all, welcome and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan and we do all things spooky here, and if that sounds incredible, I'd love to have you here. Check out all the information below for where to send your all stories for me to read, because I do that quite often, and all of my socials are linked below as well. So today I actually planned on doing a follower storytime video, but I was like, you know what? Why don't we do more spooky personal things? My husband has had some pretty creepy experiences with mimics as well, whatever it is that mimics me, right? So I was like, let's bring him on here and force him to tell stories that he's terrified to talk about. Are you okay with it? Am I forcing you against your will?
No. What?
Okay.
What?
I'm preparing for any comment.
What?
But I will let him take over. Yeah, these are all mimic stories. If those make you uncomfortable, I wouldn't watch this video if I were you.
Pretty much all of them involved Morgan directly. And as far as like the mimic stories that I've seen, or as far as the mimic situations that happened that I saw something that was, I thought Morgan, but wasn't Morgan. One day I was coming out of our bathroom that's downstairs, where our laundry machine is, and it opens inwardly. So I saw Morgan's shadow dart past it and towards our living room. And I followed her, and there's just nothing there. I went upstairs, and she's not there. I go back downstairs, she's in the kitchen. I don't remember exactly what she was doing, but she was just standing there. And I was like, where'd you go? She was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I just saw you leave the kitchen and go somewhere in the living room or upstairs or something. She's like, babe, I've been down here the entire time. I haven't moved. And that happened another time. I was coming downstairs, and I'm coming downstairs, and when you go downstairs, if you take a right, you'll be at our front door and a little coat closet where we keep our shoes. And I see her there, just standing, kind of Blair Witching the corner. I mean, it happens. We've all just stood in the corner for no reason. I'm not the weird one, you are. And I see her there, and I'm like, okay, she's probably putting her shoes on, getting her jacket on. I go into the kitchen, and she's standing there, again, she's in the kitchen. Once again, I don't know what she was doing, but I'm like, wait, weren't you just in the living room at the front door? She was like, no, I haven't gotten ready yet, why? And I went back and there was just nothing there. What I saw just wasn't there. And this had like the details. Like I can remember her hair, like she had straightened her hair. She was wearing like this specific Colombian jacket that she has. And I was just like, you were in the living room. Like the first thing that I saw looked more just like a shadow or just like, you know, the shape of her. This was like in detail of her. A couple of times though, I've heard her voice speaking to me. One of the times I remember was I was downstairs and she was upstairs. Yeah, so I was downstairs, she was upstairs. And I had just come through the front door and I hear her say, hey, come in the kitchen. No. I said, no, I heard her voice. So I come through the front door and I hear her voice say, hey, come here, from the kitchen. So I hollered out, hey, what's up? I think I was taking my shoes off or something. And I hear her again from the living room, or from the upstairs bedroom go, why, what's up? And I was like, wait, didn't you just call for me? And she was like, no, I didn't. She was upstairs the entire time. She wasn't downstairs at all. And another time that I'd heard her, I was taking the trash out, and to take our trash out, you go through our back door onto our back porch, and there's steps. She had stayed upstairs while I was taking trash. I knew where she was. But I go outside, and I'm putting our trash in our bin to take it down to the curb, and I heard baby multiple times, repeated, different volumes, different tones, but they all sounded like just like Morgan. At this point, just with all the experiences that we have had prior to this, all of the different experiences that I had on my own personal level, I knew this was something mimicking her. And where I was outside, across the street is this big wooded area. While I think this could have been the mimic that we're normally dealing with, this could have been something way more evil, maleficent, something. This could have been way, way worse. In any situation like that, you need to just ignore it, pretend you didn't hear it. If you heard it, no, you didn't. But those were the 4 main instances that I had with Morgan. But one that I had never told her before, I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys. Whenever I was around anywhere between 10 to 12 years old, I lived in a small valley in my hometown. And in this small neighborhood, it was me, my sister, our next door neighbor, her older brother, and up the hill was one of my personal friends. And one thing that we did a lot from this age was play a lot of hide and seek. Because the area around our houses is just so vast, there's so many like crevices and plenty of places to hide. Among these places, behind her neighbor's house, was this pretty dense bamboo forest. I don't really know why bamboo grew in this area, and it's probably not even bamboo, it's probably just similar to bamboo. It grew very similar towards it, but we would hide in those woods a lot because it's so thick, it's just really easy to not see if someone's deep in. I remember I was either the one looking for people, and I'm pretty sure that was the case, or I just wasn't playing. And when we would play, home base was my neighbor's porch because it was central and you could see pretty much everywhere around it. And I remember I got off the base and I'm looking around, looking for, someone. And I look into the wood, like the bamboo woods, after some time of just looking around, and I see my neighbor, and she's standing there. Her back was towards me, and she was standing in the bamboo. And the way this also worked was the bamboo woods was surrounded by some small shrubbery, and we were really short at the time, so all I saw was from her waist up, staring into the woods. And I called out her name and told her that I had found her. And I heard, "There's no way you saw me," come from the front of that neighbor's house. And I turn and I see her walking towards me, being like, you couldn't have seen me. And I look back to those woods, and what there was there just wasn't anymore. We stopped playing hide and seek after not too long of that.
You didn't reference this video, or did you? Was that the one you referenced?
No, I didn't. Oh, I must have repressed that one hardcore. Yeah, you guys can see this one on Morgan's channel.
No, I'll put it here.
Huh?
I'll put it on.
Yeah, she'll put it here. I was in the kitchen, and I think I may have just been cleaning that day, but it doesn't really matter. I was in the kitchen by myself, and I had no idea where Morgan was. The last place I remember her being was upstairs, and I hear noises coming from the living room, and immediately I think, it's one of her cats. It might be Morgan came down and I just didn't hear her. But I know I walked towards the living room, and I saw a shape just standing right next to the chair, and I was like, it'd be really weird for Morgan to be standing there, and it's obviously not one of her cats. So I stared at it for a second, and it's just making these noises. So, and this is where I grab my phone and I start recording, because I know that whatever this is, it's nothing positive. In the video, you can see me stare off to where it's just standing while recording behind me, and I make my way up the stairs, and it just stays there the entire time. It doesn't move. It doesn't really, it doesn't say words to me, but it's just making these noises. I can't even describe, but I knew it wasn't her. But another story that happened before Morgan was in that same house that I, from age 10, up until I moved out, we lived here, and I rarely had anything paranormal or even unexplainable happen in this place, but this one was. So I'm not going to go into huge detail about the layout of my house, but the point is from the kitchen and the living room to get to the bedrooms of the house is a long hallway. Down this hallway, staring straight through the door, you can see into my mom and my stepdad's bedroom. And once again, not going into too much detail of the layout, you could see the side of their bed. And on the other side of their bed, up against the wall, was my little brother's bed. He was an infant at the time, and he had this just small bed for infants that he would sleep in. I remember I was walking from the other end of the kitchen towards the hallway. Their doors open, lights were off, because it was about midday. This was in the summertime. Everyone was in our living room, which is to the left of the kitchen. And I'm looking down this hallway, and at his bed, which you can't really see the bed from like past their bed, but you know it's there. And I just see like from this absolute like darkness in the room, just something rise up, and it's the exact same shape of my little brother's head, because he's like me, he has a big head. And it doesn't, and like I can only see shadows, I can't see details, and I don't know which way it's looking, other than it's looking either right at me or away from me. It does nothing, it makes no noise. And I hear my little brother playing in the living room. I go in, and I look, I'm like, yeah, he's there. And I go out, and whatever this thing is gone, but it's just a little bit darker in their bedroom after that, like a lot harder to make out details after that happened. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my flavor of nightmares.